Ladies and gentlemen, friends and neighbors, it's Scott Hammond and 100% Humboldt podcast with my new best friend, Lynette Mullen. Hi, Lynette.
Good afternoon, Scott.
How are you?
I am very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm well. It's good to see you. I'm a little tired. I'm jet lagged. We were in Amsterdam and then London for 2 weeks. They made us go.
Yeah, I'd try to feel sorry for you about that one, but it'd be a stretch.
Yeah, I'll recover. Another night's sleep is what I need. But we're all good. It's good to see you. So tell us the Lynette story. If you're, who are you? Where are you from? Let's start there. Where were you born?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, we're going back a minute. We don't need to talk about exactly how many minutes, but so I was actually born in Long Beach. Early 70s was spent in LA, but my parents moved up here when I was a kid. They bought a small business in Fortuna. So we lived for a year in Ferndale while they built a house in Rio Dell.
Whoa.
So I actually grew up in Rio Dell, which kind of a dubious reputation, but gorgeous location for a town. We were right above the river, spent my summers, it was kind of childhood. You leave in the morning, get back before dark. So it was pretty sweet.
Yeah. And the day, I bet it was beautiful down there.
My gosh. Yeah. I think you gain about 10 degrees with every, from Eureka to Fortuna to Rio. Yeah, it was gorgeous.
But it's some big percentage of less foggy days. Yeah.
And even when it was foggy, it was this low kind of ground fog that was beautiful.
So did you go to school down at Fortuna High?
I did. Yeah.
Wow.
Had to ride the bus, which I was not very fond of, but I enjoyed being in Fortuna. Actually, I just saw there was just something online about them trying to save the Fortuna Theater.
Oh.
And I joined that Facebook group and had to say why I was interested. And it's like, because I spent my childhood there.
Right. That was your movie house.
Movies. Yeah.
Is that a nice theater? I've never been in.
It was, I don't know how it is now, but it was lovely when I was a kid. I mean, I don't know that I'd be a very good judge, but it was a nice place. It worked.
That's where all the first-rate movies went. Remember the remember the theater out at Indianola?
State.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, with the drive-in even.
There's a drive-in, and then there's the multiplex.
Yes,
I saw Star Wars there.
Yes.
Gosh, and that's all like mini storage or torn down or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, movies. The one we just got Mill Creek closed up in McKinleyville. That was due when my kids were young, and now it's gone.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We're losing them.
So did you go to Humboldt?
I did. I went to College of the Redwoods, took a break for a while, had my children, and then went back to Humboldt and got a degree in business.
In business? Good business school.
Indeed. Yeah, which I didn't actually know until I was going there. Small class sizes. The professors were great, really involved. I actually really enjoyed it. And it's kind of cool as an entrepreneur that I actually in some way am using my business education.
Of course you are, yeah.
It's kind of sweet.
I think it's the most versatile way to go. I love the business program up there. What year did you graduate?
From Humboldt?
Yeah.
I'd have to think. I don't think in terms of years. Usually I think about when I'm trying to figure out a time, it's some other significant event or how old my kids were. So it was a while ago. We'll just go with that.
That's how my wife Joni does it. Well, Michaela was 7 years old when that, I go,
yes.
How do you date? Okay, there's carbon dating and then there's kid dating. Anyway, so... Well, welcome. Tell me more about what do you do now? What have you done since Humboldt till kind of now?
Well, that's a lot of years, so I'm not going to dive into a lot of detail there. I did end up kind of evolving into working for myself as an independent project manager. I will say the longest I've ever held a real job is 2.5 years in my life, which used to make me flaky, but now makes me versatile. I know a little bit about a lot of things, basically. But I do like to get things done, and so project management turned into a really good fit for me. And then it ended up being primarily in economic and workforce development. Though in the last few years, I have done a lot of community outreach and engagement, just again, because I've been here forever and because I've only held on to a real job for a short period of time. I've done a lot of things and met a lot of people. So again, it's become an asset when it might not have been initially.
I like that. Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. So you know a lot of people.
I do.
You don't know everybody. You know every other buddy.
Not even that many, but I know enough to be effective enough in the client stuff. And then I'm also, you want to hear about the other hat I wear?
Sure.
That eventually I want to wear all day, every day. I am a local historian. So, and early on I was really focused on the settlement period, with I will say, invasion, basically, of the pioneers coming into this area and all of that dynamic and what happened there. But since COVID, my focus has changed quite a bit, and I've really been focused on another area for the last 5 years now.
Oh, pray tell.
Well, it started with, so I have a history blog, and during COVID, working at home, I had some time on my hands, and I'm not far from Old Town. So I'd walk down to Old Town, and because I'm a historic architecture dork, I would find an old building, go home, research it, and then post something if there was anything
Oh,
interesting
cool.
to post.
Okay.
You know, what happened in this building 100 years ago, or
Mhm.
why was it built, or whatever. And so I was in Old Town. I was walking on the waterfront, looking at that big old parking lot that's against the water from C Street East. So
Right.
the market there where everybody parks for Arts Alive.
Right.
And I'm looking at it going, well, something must have been here. And went home, looked it up, found a reference map that indicated the Scandia Hotel was on that lot. So I looked up, and there's a lot of newspapers that are archived online. Looked it up and found a news article about a woman named Virginia Giffray,
Hmm.
who in the early 20th century was working as a chambermaid at the Scandia Hotel because her husband had left her and she was raising her 6 children on her own.
Wow.
And so she's working as a maid in the Scandia when the 2 owners tried to force her into a life of shame.
Aha.
And I went,
Meaning prostitution?
exactly.
Mhm.
And I had, growing up here, it's a lot of folks that have been in the area a long time probably have heard references to Eureka's red light district, kind
Sure.
of permissive attitude and that sort of thing. But I, as a historian, I'd still never really thought about it or looked into it. But after finding that story, I started researching more.
Wow.
Again, COVID, time on my hands,
Mhm.
and ended up uncovering a million stories about these
Wow.
women that really played I'm finding the more I look into it, an incredibly significant role in the history of our community, literally the building of Eureka.
Hmm.
And yet nobody knows them.
Hmm.
Nobody knows who they were. We see, names on streets and on buildings, right? Like a lot of people know the Weaver building.
Mhm.
Weaver's name is on the building. He and his wife ran brothels.
Hmm.
Nobody knows the names of the women who supplied the money that ended up being Weaver's building. But
Interesting.
these women, they were significant, and a lot happened. It's this whole kind of underground world that I have dove into.
Wow. And found
Yeah.
we could name names.
Oh, yeah. No,
'Cause they're there.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were absolutely there. I mean, and some of these women, some unfortunately grew up here and because of family circumstances,
Mhm.
women had so few opportunities,
Mm.
especially in the 1800s,
Mhm.
that if they didn't marry like they were supposed to, or if their marriage went badly, which happened a lot, women were deserted or men were violent or they were widowed, especially up here with logging jobs and people on the ocean, that a lot of women ended up alone and couldn't necessarily, through legal means, support themselves or children or elderly parents. So a lot of these women ended up in that profession, which was, if on paper, illegal.
Mhm.
In Eureka and in other towns too. Eureka wasn't alone in this, but was
Not just here, right?
was not just here, but basically that particular profession was considered by many to be a necessary evil.
Mhm.
And so women were allowed to practice as long as you didn't see them in polite society, as long as they weren't disruptive.
Interesting.
So it's, yes.
What did they call those, open cities?
They would call,
Had a name
they
for 'em.
used to early on, they didn't. I mean, I think there has been, and the term's escaping me. I know what you're talking
There's
about.
like 5 cities until 1950s, early 50s. Somebody said on the show once
Oh, that
we were amongst the last cities to be shut down on that.
the military, I mean, that's a whole other thing that I haven't gotten into much, but it was, even though it's been illegal by state law since the 1850s, like it's been illegal, and it's been illegal in Eureka, it was allowed in many communities, and it wasn't, I think World War I was the first time that the federal government came in and shut down brothels because there were more soldiers conflict were missing combat due to social illnesses
Interesting.
rather than injuries.
Interesting.
And so the military felt like they had to do something about that.
I've never heard that. That's, wow. So the Scandia Hotel, is that where between Dick Taylor and Jack's Seafood?
Yeah, it's just to the west of Dick Taylor. So towards the...
Toward the bay.
Yeah.
So it's set right on the bay.
Yeah, well, on that side of First Street there.
Okay.
But that wasn't, there were scattered places, but we actually, and this was something I wasn't aware of, Eureka kind of had its own Barbary Coast, that was dedicated to saloons and brothels and had shootouts and, just all of that sort of stuff.
Guns, like open carry?
Like literal, well, oh yeah, no, all the time. People are being shot all the time.
Weird.
But the actual kind of district, our lower district, was over by, if people are familiar with Eureka, the Shanty. So 3rd Street between C and D Street, and then pushed up towards the Co-op.
Interesting.
And if people are in Old Town, it's kind of fun. If you imagine stepping off the steamer into Eureka, say at the foot of F Street, right? And you can picture the buildings down there now even. We've got the waterfront, it's a beautiful, ornate building. A couple of the Jansen building, I can't remember the names of all those, but nicer buildings, right?
Yeah.
But if you go kind of south and west towards the Co-op, things get flatter, things get squattier. And not many of the old buildings survive because they were built cheaply and they weren't meant to last forever. So even in the architecture, you can kind of see where Eureka's district ended up.
So you invented the walking tour in Old Town?
Yes.
That's cool. That's been going for a while, right?
Yeah, no. I've only done a couple, and I just kind of revising the route and splitting it up, quite frankly. So what I realized in doing the tour is while some folks really are interested in these ladies and the lives they led and the challenges that they had, maybe other people not so much, but they're still interested in kind of the underbelly, the history of the underbelly of Eureka. So I'm actually doing 2 tours. One is called The Wicked Waterfront. That's more focused on the rogues. Like we had, just to give an example, and I've just learned this term, we had a crimp, a nationally known crimp. And I was like, what is a crimp?
What's a crimp?
What is a crimp? So crimps were, in the 1800s, there were people that ran boarding houses specifically for sailors. And sailors would go to the boarding house, they'd stay there, they would eat, they would wait for ships to come in, and then the boarding house master would connect with ship captains as they came in and connect the two, the sailors with the captains looking for crew.
Oh, wow.
So in theory, it sounds lovely, right? Kind of like a unofficial employment office matchmaking sort of thing. The problem with people like Jack Connor, who ended up building his place, and it may be the original building, I'm still working on it, but the 707 bar. So picture 1st and C Street there. Jack ended up building that place. He was known as Coffee Jack.
Used to be Sam and Dave's or whatever.
Yeah, it's been Stephen Dave's. It's been,
Stephen Dave.
Oh gosh, it was something else before that. I can't remember. Jack Connor built that, but he was a crimp. So he would have a boarding house specifically catering to sailors and was the friendliest guy in the world to them. Here's food, here's booze, here's the company of a lady.
Wow.
Don't worry about it. We'll take care of it later, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then ship captains would come in and pay the sailors' debt.
Hilarious.
And whether those sailors wanted to go or not.
Now they're indentured.
They were going. Exactly right. And he was infamous for it. He also did this in San Pedro. He had a place in San Pedro as well as Eureka. And he was infamous to the point where when the sailors' unions were forming, they had magazines that would go out and try to educate these poor guys. And the magazines would be like, never patronize Coffee Jack's, but don't even shake his hand. Stay away from him.
He's bad.
He's a bad guy.
He's a slaver.
Away.
Yeah.
He basically was. Yeah.
Wow.
And he was right here in Eureka.
So they would go on a boat and go for 9 months and pay their debt.
Wherever they went, well, the wages were paid in advance. So it was
so
like you said,
that.
indentured there. Yes,
And
whether they wanted to or not.
And who's keeping records? The captain.
Yeah, exactly right.
Right.
Yeah. So that's just one,
Wow.
with these other tours, a story like that. There's also, moving into the 20th century, there was this story first in the San Francisco paper, and then the local folks picked it up, and they were indignant because the story talked about how Eureka was full of basically gullible people, and that fakiers, so clairvoyants, mystics, fortune tellers, like Eureka was a great place for them to go because Eurekans were so gullible.
Wow.
They just hand over the money.
Just come on up.
They just, and literally, yeah, there's so the local paper got very upset by this. But then unfortunately for this young girl who was working as a servant up here in Eureka, there was a guy that came up that was supposed to be a fortune teller. Her name was Ida, and she had a Finnish last name that I'm not going to say well, so I just won't say it. But she worked for a local physician, had been saving her money clearly for years, trying to get her elderly father here from Finland.
Wow.
And she went to this guy who is posing as Russell Desang, I think was the name he was using up here. So she went to him and told him she wanted a husband.
Oh, wow.
Which she was in her late 20s, working her butt off as a servant. And so she was really hopeful that this guy with his magic whatever could help.
Wow.
And so what he did is he told her to get, she had saved like almost $800. So he told her to go to the bank. Huge. I mean, years, literally. And I think, I mean, I was kind of wondering if she was a servant or a quote servant, but she was working for a local physician. So she may have just actually legally somehow earned and saved all that money. So she goes to this guy and he takes the $500 and he ends up putting it, she believes, in this bag, sewing up this bag, and then telling her she's got to say these words or pray over this bag for the next 10 days and then she'll have a husband. He was here long enough for her to get upset that it wasn't working and go back. So she went back to this guy and he's like, oh, you need to put more money in. So she put in like another $276 or something like that, right? So she's got almost $800 in these bags.
Oh, no.
Sews them up. So she's holding these bags now, right? And she can feel the money in there and she's praying over them. And the time comes, guy is out of town. He's gone by now, right? And so she's opening up the bags and it's all just paper. Her savings is gone.
Gone. And he's gone.
And he's gone to.
On a ship somewhere.
Well, he ended up going south. This was in 1910, 1911. So he rented a car, took it back down to San Francisco, and in fact, snuck off and left the owner of the car, a guy from Eureka, like without paying him.
Wow.
So a lot of people wanted to find him. The police chief here became committed and ended up finding this guy in Ohio.
Oh, wow.
And brought him back and he ended up getting convicted and being sent to San Quentin.
Whoa.
And there's more to that story because his wife was also a con woman with kind of a similar thing, and she's in San Quentin. But there's a lot of those kind of stories too that, take some digging. But it's all stuff that happened here.
Yeah.
So.
And you got all the other stories, the Indian Island story, which we'll get to. Chinatown, right?
Yes.
Chinese, was there a massacre or just
no.
They ran everybody off?
Yeah, there was an expulsion there. And I have to say that I am not as familiar with that history as a lot of other people here, the Chinatown history. But the one thing that I did notice, sorry to bring it back to the ladies, but in 1885, 1886, I think in a lot of ways, Eureka had kind of resigned itself to tolerating, again, this kind of underground economy. But Chinatown, so there were brothels in Chinatown and opium dens in Chinatown, and that couldn't be accepted. And so when people were complaining about Vice, they would very specifically talk about Chinatown, kind of ignoring the rip-roaring, Barbary coast that we had going on literally a block away. That was fine. But if Chinese people were involved, no.
What was the Barbary Coast?
So the
thing, right?
It was a thing. San Francisco had one that was blocks and blocks long. That was, it was where you went if you wanted to gamble or if you wanted to visit a woman. Lots of saloons, that sort of thing. Very dangerous, especially in San Francisco, where people would be drugged, shanghaied. So that was. I don't have evidence that our guy here are Shanghaied people, but that's where sailors would go into saloons, have a drink, and wake up literally on a ship to China.
Wow.
And what do you do? You're in the middle of the ocean.
Can't jump off.
You can't jump off. Yeah.
Wow.
So,
Prison ship.
yeah, exactly right. Yeah. So the Barbary Coast was kind of infamous, and that term was used in a bunch of different communities. I'm really not sure. I should look into that because I'm sure other people listening know exactly where the original Barbary Coast was.
Yeah.
But
Maybe there's a lot of versions of that.
I'm sure there is.
Maybe Anchorage had one up in Alaska. Who knows?
I would think. Oh, yeah. No, there were definitely
Seattle.
districts
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what turned the corner for you, Lynette, in terms of, if you're just joining us, this is my new best friend, Lynette Mullen, talking about history in Humboldt County and really specific history. And so what turned the corner for you after Humboldt to kind of go historical?
Oh.
What was?
Oh my gosh.
What were the tipping points for you?
That was kind of interesting. So I always did okay in school, but I would like for tests. I wouldn't actually learn. Like I was far into adulthood before it occurred to me that school was for learning. Because for me, it was about memorizing what you needed to memorize until the test, and then you regurgitated it, and then you moved on to hanging with your friends or whatever.
What an awful system.
Isn't that
just
just
for the
terrible?
record.
I know,
It's
it's
like,
just a terrible thing.
Why did we do that?
When it really sunk in, I was appalled. So history held no romance or allure for me because, again, facts that you memorize and regurgitate. But I ended up, my ex-husband is Native American.
Mhm.
And we were out at some family property, and his grandfather was talking, and his mother was talking, and my mother-in-law had been talking about this story that she'd found in a local kind of collection that seemed to be referring to somebody in their family.
Oh.
And Rich is my ex's name. Rich's grandpa said, "Well, no, you're talking about Daisy," and it was a Native American woman that had survived a massacre when unfortunately everybody else had perished.
Wow.
But she had survived and grown up in the Orleans area. And when my mother-in-law was talking about her, Orville literally pointed at a tree and said, well, her Indian name was Willow, and she planted that tree.
Huh.
She was my grandpa's cook for years. She lived here.
Wow.
And for me, and I'm embarrassed to say it, but it was really the first time that I realized that all that history that we read is actually about real people. Like real people. Like it actually it happened versus just being this removed abstract.
Caricature.
Yeah, it was such a strange kind of awakening for me.
Connected to you. Yeah.
Yeah. And so initially, again, my focus was the settlement period. I'd heard stories, family stories to start with, about this history of kidnapping and indenture of Native children in California, which was supposed to be a free state always.
Right.
And the first laws in California made that absolutely untrue for the indigenous population, where they could be indentured, technically enslaved, for years. And Humboldt became infamous in the trafficking, especially of women and children, and acquired them for people who were looking for servants.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was this black hole that I just dove into for years. But then I was able to write a story about a woman in Arcata that was affected by this in the 1860s. Was able kind of to do what I thought I could, at least at this point with that topic. And then, then I was just kind of interested in local photos, like my history blog for people that are interested. If you just Google Lynette's NorCal history, because I've literally got hundreds of photos. Because when I couldn't think of anything to put on the blog, I just find a photo.
Put a photo up.
Oh, and they're so fun. I mean, my favorite, I think, is a photo of Blue Lake. It's an empty street scene in Blue Lake with a pig in the middle of the street.
Perfect.
It's so random, but but photos are fun that way. If you enlarge and look deeply, there's always something.
And Blue Lake is fun that way.
Oh, Blue Lake's just
Shout out to Blue Lake. Hey, Blue Lake people.
Yes.
Yeah, no, they're fun out there. Wonder if I could find that pig anywhere out there.
Probably not anymore.
So when I looked you up, and AI told me this word that you could reframe the history of Humboldt County, I thought, that's good. That's a good way to explain that. So it's a reframe of these actual people that, I don't know much about prostitution in Old Town. I know that it was there.
Yeah.
I know it was really run down until the 60s, and then they did they put money back into it, right?
In Old Town.
What's that called? It's not renovation money. It's
revitalizing the
correct. Yeah.
and that other word with the
Re
something. Greg Foster would know.
What is it? Greg, help us.
Yeah.
Where are you, Greg?
If he's listening, he would know. But yeah, well, and I've learned a lot. I mean, even recently, I really realized that this kind of implicit, not explicit because it was illegal, but Eureka really benefited. I mean, initially it was because, and I think Eureka made a strategic decision in the 1800s when like Ferndale was literally burnt a woman out of Ferndale in the 1890s. Like Ferndale had one brothel on the hill and literally the women were like, that's enough. They can come in the bed. I don't have to see my husbands, my brothers, my sons going. That's it. But Eureka took a different approach. Mm-hmm. And in part, I think it was just because as a madam in Utah realized and actually presented to business owners when she was shut down in the early 1900s, she was shut down. Officials shut her down. And instead of going to the officials, she went to the owner of the mine in town and was like, the officials have shut me down.
Right.
But you realize because I'm shut down, when your workers have a day off, they're going to travel 2 days to Salt Lake.
Burn out.
Instead of staying here.
And not come back to work.
And not come back to here, or at least lose time, right? And I think that same sort of thing here where Eureka realized they needed the sailors and the loggers and the laborers that were living in Old Town,
right.
And if those men could visit saloons and have a drink and enjoy the company of a lady here versus going to another town, why not? Especially if they could control it and limit and kind of protect the, quote, decent and respectable people from that.
Yeah.
And then I have to say, in the early 1900s, Eureka was broke and made a very conscious decision to impose a kind of an unofficial tax on the women that lasted for years. And as long as the women paid, the women could stay in business.
They could stay around.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I guess Nevada's still that way, right?
Yeah, I believe it's legal in Nevada.
I think it's by county, but I don't know it's every county. But
yeah.
Huh. Must be taxed?
I would think so. Oh, yeah. I mean, anything. And
regulated.
When Eureka was trying to figure it out, I mean, they were... to be fair to them, they were just looking at revenue streams. But Eureka also... And I'm actually working on a story on this. They would issue traders' licenses to these women so that they could legally sell, say, cigars and candy bars in the brothels. Literally, like I have the records. The city was issuing business licenses to these women
still buy
so
things.
that they could do that. Yeah. Legally.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely bizarre. In a house where everything was illegal, the city was like, okay, no, but we want you to comply, when you're selling cigars.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
It's very weird.
So tell me about your published works. It says you publish things and you do speaking and community engagement. Tell me about some of the stuff you like to do.
Some of that, or
you've done and that you're doing, and then we want to get to what you're coming to.
What I'm working on.
The new thing.
Yeah.
Hold steady on that one, but go ahead.
Okay, so, as far as I've taught at Ollie. I've given presentations here locally, different local history. I mean, everything from just kind of the evolution of Old Town to the settlement period, that sort of thing.
Hard stop on Ollie. So Ollie, for those of us that don't know what Ollie is, I do. I taught one. It's is it Oshner? Is that
Osher?
Osher. Through Cal Poly Humboldt.
Yes, the Osher Lifelong Institute.
Such a cool thing. I want to do the Wolf Creek thing.
Oh, yeah. That's for adults. Yes.
Have you done that one?
No.
It's like a week camping with other adults.
Yeah. So for people that aren't familiar with it, I believe there's only 13 in the country.
Really?
So we're pretty fortunate to have one here. Yeah. And the focus is primarily serving people 55 and older, kind of lifelong learners, as it says in the name.
You're not 55, are you?
I'm 56.
Oh. I'm 27 inside.
But it's a great program, and I've talked to other instructors that say it's wonderful for the instructors too, because the folks that sign up for those classes clearly want to be there.
Yeah.
Nobody's a kid like getting through a GE class. It's they're all choosing to learn whatever that person's
acting out in the back.
Exactly, or falling asleep or whatever.
There's Sam, 71-year-old man acting out.
So that's not a danger. And I think younger people can go. I don't know how often younger folks take advantage of that.
The offerings are really cool.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's
diverse
a huge
stuff.
variety.
So you would teach a history class there?
Yeah, I've taught a few. So one of the other, and I don't know that I actually taught this one, but I was prepared to. So about opium, the early opium dens and addiction in Humboldt, which is a whole other topic, that I did. You asked about writing, and I did a story for the North Coast Journal on that, that kind of highlighted the parallels between early opioid addiction and what we see today. That was kind of fascinating.
In terms of meth and things like that?
Well, in terms of addiction, the reasons why people become addicted, kind of the ravages of addiction, and why it is so hard for people to stop. And physicians even early, 100 years ago, some recognized it was a disease and that people needed help and that there were emotional components to it.
Oh, wow.
I think at times we lose, it's like we recognize stuff like that and then we lose it and then we, learn it again. Really, yeah. It's very odd when you look at history that way. Which reminds me of another, during COVID, I did a series for the Last Coast Outpost on the Spanish flu.
Oh, really?
Which started with people kind of understanding it was coming, and then this entire debate here locally about whether or not to close businesses, and then wear masks or not wear masks, and people, what do you do?
What year was
the
that?
Parallels. That was 1918.
Yeah.
And that's the parallels as we were going through COVID were just remarkable. The schools, whether or not you close the schools, like the debates 100 years later in a similar situation had not changed at all.
History did not change. Did it come and ravage Humboldt?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, and incredibly lethal. I mean, so fortunately for us, even though we lost a lot of wonderful community members during that time period, it's not as many as this community lost during the Spanish flu.
Wow. Wow. So tell me more about other things you've taught and done.
Oh, gosh. Well, boy. So I have a history blog, I think I mentioned, and that's just kind of random. It's more, I'm trying to move into doing this all day, every day, but it's really just had to be a hobby so far. So I did a North Coast Journal story, on the Native American woman who was murdered in Arcata in 1862. And that's where I talk a lot about the history of indenture and the settlement period and the things that happened there. The opium story that I mentioned. Oh, see, none of my stuff's happy. I did, it's just not.
It's just,
I think it's important. I think it's really important. I did one for the North Coast Journal, a story for the Journal on early abortions.
Wow.
And what happened here, and what happened with the women here and the practitioners. And when it was, because it was a lot of times even, it would be referred to as simply an illegal operation. So, just kind of tracing what happened when people had a hard time accessing care for whatever reason.
Right.
So that type of thing, I'm sure I've done more. For clients, I've done a lot of business, through work, a lot of business profiles over the year, which is always really fun. I didn't end up focused on economic and workforce development by accident. I love this place. I love the people that are here and the entrepreneurs and their creativity and the opportunities that come up because of that. And so it's been fun over the years to write profiles for, the SBDC and now North Edge used to be AEDC and other clients and that sort of thing. So I've done that sort of thing too. So
right. That's Susan Seaman and our good friend, gosh, what's the guy's name? The head guy for AEDC?
Ross.
Sorry, Ross.
Yeah.
Love your Ross being it.
Yes.
No, what a great crew. No, I love that. So speaking of which, so we're going to take the segue and take you into the Dick Taylor quiz zone. What are we playing for today, folks? Brought to you by Dick Taylor Chocolate. Oh, milk chocolate. That's delicious. I bet you like dark chocolate.
I do like dark chocolate.
Ooh, okay, hey, Fleur de Sol, 73%.
Oh, nice.
I watched somebody do this on TikTok. With their actual bar, they circled handcrafted, they circled bean to bar, cacao, cane sugar, and Fleur de Sol. So it's very. These are very. You've had them.
Oh yes, I'm a big fan.
Well, you might just get lucky today. So.
Okay.
Are you ready? And then I want to come back.
So.
Then I want to come back to your latest passion and tours and stuff. So we'll go there. Ready? Okay. Question number 1. What was the best day of your life?
Oh, see, as mother of 3 children, I can't say one day.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
So babies being born?
I would have to say my children coming into the world.
How old are your kids?
Oh gosh, 37. The next one is going to be 34,
Wow.
and then my baby's 32.
Wow.
Yeah, they're all grown up.
Do you have grandkids?
Yes, I do. I have 3. Each of my kids has a
You
child.
must have had grandkids early.
No, I had my kids early.
Mhm.
I was a young mom, but no, my kids were all late 20s, early 30s.
Yeah. I mean, Joni and I were almost 60 before we had grandkids.
Oh,
Crazy.
wow.
I mean, they just waited. Okay, question number 2.
Okay.
These are my new questions, so I'm just going to throw these at you. What was the worst day of your life? We're getting the hard ones out of the way first.
Wow. Maybe it's a good sign that nothing just pops into my head.
That's probably a great sign.
Yeah.
How about a tough day?
Oh, see, I probably have to get into politics for that, and I'd prefer not to do that
That's
today.
fair.
Yeah.
Okay, answer implied. Okay, here comes the softballs. Ready?
Okay. All right.
Question number 3.
Okay.
You can eat anywhere tonight out with a date. Where do you go? Any restaurant in the county.
Oh, see, I didn't even picture. That's so weird. When you asked that question, I immediately pictured myself in the middle of the bay, like surrounded by water, beautiful sunset.
Like on a boat?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Okay.
How random is that?
I bet you could get a boat dinner.
You probably
There's
could.
probably somebody that could put that together with
Yeah.
fresh fish. Okay. Where do you go for coffee? Assuming you might be a coffee person.
Oh, I am a coffee person. I have come up with my own mocha recipe at home because I used to go get coffee a lot, like just to do it,
Mhm.
Which is a bit of an expensive habit.
It
So
is
I have my
anymore.
own little coffee machine, and I have soy milk, and I use Ovaltine so I can pretend it's good for me.
Ovaltine.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're from when you're a kid, and it's got vitamins and
For a
minerals and all of
mocha?
that for my
It's
mocha.
got chocolate.
Yes, exactly right.
Wow, I like that.
Yeah.
We brought some chocolate. We bought some beans back from Keen
Oh.
Coffee in Utrecht, Netherlands, and it's called Geisha.
Okay.
And it's like this exclusive. So we went to this coffee bar, and it's like sipping. So you get all these tastes of stuff, like rad stuff from around the world. Creamer, there's no creamer anywhere in there.
Oh.
So you're just sipping this organic killer deal, and it actually has notes. There's a really trippy, really good coffee has this whole thing, but
I believe it.
I'm not going there. Hey,
Yeah.
actually I went there. So question number 5, what's soul crushing for you and what's fulfilling? What really makes it for you and what really breaks it for you?
So this is a weird, boy.
In Toastmasters, we used to call this the pregnant pause. Remember that?
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Dramatic pause.
Well, none of these. This is where I wish I would have had these ahead of time. I could have come up with something brilliant and articulate and well
Impromptu
thought
speech.
out. No, it's funny. I really struggle right now. My biggest struggle, quite frankly, is that the stories that I'm uncovering about these women to me are so important. Not only kind of the political implications and that sort of thing,
Mhm.
but just the individual lives that these women led. Can I cuss? They were badasses. They went through
Okay.
so much and
Mhm.
survived and figured out a way, some of them, to thrive. They're just amazing.
Yeah.
And it's, as I uncover these stories, like, I want everybody to know about them.
Mhm.
But that takes a lot of time, and I still have to pay my bills and feed my cat. And
Right.
actually, I have a dog now. But I also love my work. Like, I adore my client. I do a lot with the Builders Exchange. Local businesses that are
Great.
doing amazing work in this community, and I feel honored,
Mhm.
truly, to be able to work with them and support what they do. But yet I've got this pull, so I have to make deals with myself during the day. I'm going to work for 3 hours on the client stuff. Okay. And then I can work on the ladies, so it's like,
First things first.
but that's really the biggest challenge, is balancing that right now.
That's-
Ironically, which is the best problem to have.
That's a
but
good problem.
for
I was
me,
gonna
it's
say.
Still, yeah, it's very ironic.
This
but
passion
it's
that's
still,
calling you over here all the time.
Exactly right.
Wow,
Yeah.
I like that.
It feels bigger, like I'm afraid of getting hit by a car before I'm
Yeah.
able to share these stories.
Well, I love the fact that because you're heroic for doing it, discovering the heroes
Oh.
and telling the hero story. Because I think isn't that the real story that the struggle and the journey and that you made it and so had 10 kids and she was amazing and 55 grandkids and what a kind of a success story.
Yeah.
Despite all the odds.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we have all these entitled people in our midst who get everything handed to them, and they're not badasses. They're I don't know what kind of ass they are, but maybe they're just asses.
Yeah.
And there's people like that out there, and I go, well, that's not an interesting story. But somebody that's overcome hardship, good on you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
For discovering and then announcing that.
Yeah. Well, and even I don't know that the people given everything are any happier or more satisfied with life than those who struggle.
Some are.
Yeah.
Some are doing just fine.
Easier. Yeah, you're right.
Just fine, thank you. But yeah, it's sad because I go, oh man, you've been given it all, and what are you doing with it?
Yeah.
And the answer is, well, not much. I don't really care.
Right.
Okay, great. That's good. Great choice. Good.
Yeah.
Good on you. So, last question.
Okay.
And the quiz will be over finally.
Phew.
I know. You get to go walk on a trail. What trail are you walking on?
Oh gosh. Oh, see, that's so difficult because okay. Sequoia Park.
Okay.
It's so fun. I have a friend from high school who recently moved back here. And one of our consistent themes when we go walking is how amazingly, incredibly lucky we are that we live right here. And like, we've got so much beauty literally in our backyard.
Right.
You walk the waterfront or Sequoia Park it's breathtaking.
Mm-hmm.
Or like I will have a meeting in Arcata and stop by the Arcata Community Forest on my way home. And it's like, oh, it's just a walk. This is just like an afternoon walk for me in the middle of heaven. It's amazing.
The therapy.
It's incredible. But I would say Sequoia Park, actually. There's just some spots that are just so incredibly gorgeous. And it's so accessible.
My boss from Texas, I almost apologized. Oh. I go, this is a nice park, but it's right in town. But we'll go check it out. And Rich is all like tripping on the trees.
Oh,
he was like, he loved it. And this guy walked by smoking weed. And this doesn't happen in Texas. And it's like, okay, great. Skateboarder almost hit us down on Broadway. And he got all the things. He got indoctrinated pretty quick.
Oh, yeah. My sister was up visiting once. And I remember we were sitting in my backyard. And she's like, do you ever forget that you live right next to the ocean?
Ah.
And I had to tell her yes. Like I did. It's like 10 minutes from my house, and I hardly ever go to the beach because it just doesn't occur to me.
Drive over the bridge.
Right, yeah, I know.
Are you here in Eureka?
Far. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's we get to where we can even take these things for granted. How lucky are we that that's the case? Yeah.
I'm 5 minutes from Clam Beach, and you know how much I walk in Clam Beach?
I know.
The answer's not enough.
Isn't that something?
It's just there. We walk at Clam Beach. You could go all the way up to Moonstone and see maybe 15 people. It's like, what was I thinking not doing that meditative walk?
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. So tell us about the new projects. So you mentioned the 2 walking tours.
Yes. So it's kind of part of a bigger thing. And again, it's all, building towards this dream of being able to focus and share the lady stories all day, every day. But for years now, I've been, ever since COVID, kind of sharing stories that I've uncovered about the lower levels. Mm-hmm. And Susan Seaman in particular, former mayor of Eureka, would tell me, I got to do a tour. Do a tour. You should do a tour. That'd be the perfect way to share these stories. And I would hear her, but but then in the space of a week, either at the end of the spring, I had 2 other people tell me that same thing.
Ah, Providence.
And I was finally like, okay, I'm going to do a tour. Mm-hmm. And Susan had created what's called Adventure Club. And it's amazing. For those who aren't familiar with it, you can look it up on Facebook. She totally made it up. Mm-hmm. But the basic premise is that somebody plans an activity. Mm-hmm. It tells you when and where and what to wear and if it costs you anything.
Cool.
And you show up and then you find out what you're doing. And so
could be anything.
It could be any, and it's been anything from blacksmithing to kayaking to laughing yoga to watching a glass blower.
Wow.
To this summer, my tour.
Perfect.
Yeah, so we set it up because then I had a deadline and I put it together and I was able to get feedback on it.
Good.
And I did that tour and it was great and it felt really important because I could even show people physically where some of these things had happened, which really I think makes it real.
Oh, yeah.
In a way that it just doesn't happen otherwise. And I went home and I filed my fictitious business name statement and I'm starting a new website. And it's so ultimately I'm building a business now under the umbrella preserving histories. But the lower levels is what I'm focused on. And it's all about doing tours and presentations and hopefully eventually what I'm calling an armchair tour. So, people that maybe aren't very mobile or out of the area can either order a book or do some sort of audio version of it, that shares some of these stories and gives people a sense of
maybe with
of
some
the
photos
Canadian
online.
history.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So I'm very excited about all of it. All of a sudden it's a lot to do and I have to figure out web pages and all that. I don't have an IT department. So it's feeling like a lot and I have to tell myself to breathe and relax, but it's also very exciting.
Gotta find a nerd person.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know. My youngest used to be my IT person, and he left without teaching me everything.
So interesting story. A couple days ago, driving through London, like by the Thames, all the way through, we were driving everywhere. We finally got James, the tour bus driver dude, a young guy upstairs, giving like a narrative where we were going. And the whole thing came, same tour, different day. The whole thing came alive. And he goes, and I go, could you kind of emphasize the rock and roll part of this a little bit? He goes, sure. He goes, right over there was the studio where Triton Studios were, Rod Stewart, the Stones and Pink Floyd all recorded. It's like, now you're talking. And hey, right over here, a couple of the Stones used to live down the street right here by Hyde Park for a while. And
too
it was
fun.
it's like, oh, this is cool. And he really kind of made it all happen because he knew the stories.
Yes. Yes.
And the geography made it concrete.
Yes, exactly right.
Literally.
Yeah. Yeah. Combining those two things, there's something pretty special about it. I mean, and for me, just the experience of walking through Old Town is so different now. It's like, oh, well, that's where Kitty lived. Oh, that's where, Lockhart had his dance hall. Oh, that was the view that this is where people stuffed off the steamer and onto the wharf. And these were the buildings that they saw because, some of the buildings in Old Town have been there since the 1870s.
Right.
And so the Vance Hotel, the first two stories of the Vance Hotel has been there since the 1870s.
Tell us about the Vance real quick. It had the first flushing toilets or electricity?
Steam. Well, they had steam.
Heating.
They had heat. Yeah, there was something because he had a mill.
Right.
And he would use, and I was trying to figure that out. And the mill was at the foot of G because I found a reference to it. And he used the steam from the mill to heat. I think it was to heat the different rooms in the hotel. Yeah. I don't know a ton about it. I know it was John Vance and he was a very big deal. Did clearly very, very, very well. But but yeah, there was a lot of quote modern, amenities here, which is kind of fun too. And you think about some of this, like when did people get electricity? When did they have lights? B Street, the area that I'm focused on, in the 1890, the residents petitioned for a street light because it was dark. Just like today, they were like, it's too dark at that corner. We need a light.
Right.
So.
I love it.
Yeah.
How about the Carson Mansion? You ever do much with that? I'm sure you've been there.
I mean, I've been fortunate enough to be there. I wish more people in the community, and I understand why it's a private club, and it's very important that they generate that revenue to maintain that structure.
Sure.
But I still wish, I grew up here and never stepped foot in there until I was, my 30s or 40s. But no, so it's beautiful. And on my blog, there's really fun pictures of the mill. So the Carson Mill was right underneath.
It was right there. Yeah.
Huge. I mean, so it's really fun to see photos, where right now we've just got these empty fields and that sort of thing. And it's just, the Carson, I mean, it's a beautiful structure, but we have a ton. I mean, I call it, in my blog, I think I even said this once, it's to me, it's like building porn. There's just so many intricate, incredible little details on our buildings, our historic buildings.
Building porn.
It is. It's like, it's like architectural porn to me. Yeah. But it is. And if you think about the work I mean, and there's still some lovely structures that get
Mhm,
built, but when you look at the older stuff and
mhm.
all of that detail and think that individuals
It's
at
pretty
first
rad.
decided it was worth spending the money
Mhm.
and the time to create those details, and then that craftsmen, had to
Mm.
who knows how long to actually make that stuff happen, and we still see it's like public art to me. For me, our buildings are like just another form of public
The
art. We're
neighborhoods,
so
yeah, just
lucky. Oh, yeah.
so you're part of the Humboldt Historical Society, right?
I'm a member
Are
and
you a
of
board
and a
member or anything like that?
no, 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 no. I've been on boards a couple of times,
Mhm.
but when I get invited, I warm I'm a terrible board member. It's
You're a
kinda like
bad
my job history. I last about a year,
I'm a bad board
and then
member.
I am. Though I am, we are starting to ramp up a capital campaign
Mm.
to shore up the facade at the Uric Theater.
Oh, that'll be
I'm
cool.
excited about that.
That's cool.
Yes, yes. So we're getting ready to do
Yeah.
that. So yeah, it's short, very definitive kind of end result
Mhm.
deliverables we're looking for. So that's the kind of thing
So
I
you know
can do.
Jerry Rhodey, obviously.
Oh, absolutely.
He's kinda is he kinda the history general guru?
He's the history god.
He's the dude, right?
Oh, he is the dude. I mean, and for
Hey,
him,
Jerry.
it's yeah. Hi, Jerry. Um, and for Jerry, he is super fun to listen to because not only does he have kind of the facts and the history,
Mhm,
he is also very good at
mhm.
tying those stories to the geography.
Right.
Where I'm just kind of focused on Old Town or certain areas, like, he's just got this sense of the entire county and
Mhm.
beyond, and how those stories kinda work into the landscape, and I'm still learning that, like,
Sure.
realizing, that the bigger houses that poor working guys didn't live a mile from Old Town because they didn't have cars and
Right.
they
You had to
couldn't
walk.
afford public they had to walk, so that's why boarding houses that's why we had all those boarding houses in Old Town because the mills were right there.
Right.
So little thing but for me, it's not so much physical is just kinda infrastructure and how
Mhm.
I'm just starting to become aware of that.
So you know my friend Mel Schuster, right? That's you said you
Yes.
knew he's writing the book.
Yes!
Yeah, he's doing the
Oh, I
fiction
think
book.
I owe him an email, yeah,
Yeah.
because he's asked some questions about the ladies,
Mel,
yes.
yes. Yeah, no
Yes.
no, he's really interesting because he's, studied heavily and he's writing fiction around
Yeah.
some of the stuff, so I think you guys definitely have a connection.
Oh, yeah.
They live up in Dallas, Oregon, but he's all from here, and his dad worked for Channel 6 for years, and they're good friends. They're cool
So
people.
is that his father's sculptures
Don't think
in the building?
I don't know that. I think he was a cameraman for Channel
Oh,
6.
the Schuster,
Schuster.
all the photos, the amazing okay, this is a
Correct.
plug
I think
for
he had
Cal Poly.
I think, yeah.
Yes, so Cal Poly's got these incredible aerial photos from the '40s, maybe into the '50s, but they're all over Humboldt County that were shot by Schuster.
Wonder if
So
that's
you can
him.
blow them up and
Oh,
look at all these
I'll see
buildings that
stuff.
aren't here anymore.
Right.
Oh, it's fun.
So
You can find your house.
what about the carriage guy in Old Town? He's kinda historical.
I don't
He's fun.
know him.
He's kind of is he British? He's kinda got an accent.
I don't know. I'd love to know how he got here.
Yeah, he's
Like
got a little story. I
okay.
talked to him a little bit.
Alright.
He does a little he does his own little tour. He's got something to say about the buildings.
Yeah.
Jody and I did that tour, the walking tour one year with we went through the chamber who was doing it.
Oh, very cool.
It was really fun, so
Yeah.
I wanna do yours, though.
Yeah. I'm working on it. Well, and you said you had Eric Vollmer's here. Eric's been doing The Haunted. Him and,
Heard of that.
yes,
Yeah,
yes. He's been working
that'd be cool.
yeah.
So tell me, let's talk about your history real quick. How do you wanna be remembered? So I was coming to this.
Oh,
This
gosh.
this is where we start to wrap a little bit, but tell me how would you like to be remembered when we come to your celebration of life or your gravestone or what how do you wanna how would you hope that we would remember you?
Well, if I don't see, this is where I get nervous. As long as I don't get hit by a bus,
Uh-huh.
I wanna be the person that shares the stories of all these women. I mean, and I talk about Eureka, but I can tell you about women in Sacramento and in San
Mhm,
Francisco and, that really contributed and shaped the community, but
mhm,
nobody even knows their names.
mhm,
And if I could be the person that helps people, be aware of that, and then maybe even today, like, realize how often people aren't seen that
mhm,
are contributing, especially people maybe that are I hate to use the word margins, or I mean, for me, it's lower levels just because it's early on, and it's not about them. It's about, kind of the strata of society that people kind of put them in.
Mm-hmm.
But if I could do anything before I go, that helps people, reminds them just to be more aware of the people that impact the community that aren't recognized, but are frankly just as valuable and important.
Sure.
I think that would be an incredible legacy.
Like you said, not seen.
Yeah, even though they're right here.
Oh, you're going to give us glasses. We can see them. That'll be good.
I like that.
I like it. No, you have permission. So call out all your stuff, all your websites. So how do we find, if I wanted a private tour of Old Town for my business?
Yes.
And you could drive us around or do something. How would we, how would we get a hold of you?
Just go to thelowerlevels.com.
Lowerlevels.com.
Yes.
So you have a website.
Don't judge me. No IT person, so I'm still working on it. But my contact info's in there and a little description of the 2 tours. So just thelowerlevels.com.
What do the tours cost? Can I ask that?
So it's going to be $30 or $150 minimum.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a walking tour. Again, it can be either the ladies, if that's what you're interested in, or what I'm calling the rogues.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of, and we had a bunch of those too. Boy, Humboldt County did, and I think still tends to draw those kind of, boundary pushing kind of people.
What's the rogue? They said the Rose?
Rogue.
The Rogue.
ROGUE. The Rogues.
Like the Rogue Valley in Oregon.
Like that. Or like, crimps and the shysters and,
So I understand the ladies' tour. What's the Rogue tour? Is that a little bit more around...
So that's more focused. So that would be more focused on, say, Jack, the crimp, the Coffee Jack, and his kind of tricks with the sailors and that sort of thing, and the mystics, the charlatans that came up and took advantage of people in the community, some of the brothel keepers that were frankly just assholes. But unfortunately, ladies, had to deal with them. And, so it's more just kind of the guys that are interesting. You're not necessarily going to like them very much. Where the women, I would assume, are going to elicit a much different and more sympathetic response and be more kind of educational as far as get you thinking about, the dangers and limited options and choices, that people make and why.
Kind of all part of the human condition, right?
Exactly right.
Yep. We all suffer from that journey.
Indeed.
That's good. Well, thanks for being here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
I think it's so cool. I want to just learn some more. You made me hungry for that. So with that, I'm going to say thanks, Lynette. Oh, with that.
Oh.
Can we edit in some music? For you, a very fresh dark chocolate, 73% Belize Fleur de Sel from Dick Taylor Chocolates.
Thank you.
Located in Old Town Eureka with, they're playing this weekend at the Freshwater Land Trust.
Huckleberry Flint.
Yep, the Flint.
Wonderful.
Yeah, they're fun.
I caught their Christmas show at the Steeple, which is an amazing venue in Ferndale. Oh my gosh, it's just amazing.
Yeah.
And these guys were incredible. It had been years since I'd heard them. They're amazing. I think they're actually playing at the Friday Night Market, the last one too.
They always do.
So people may want to check that one too. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to go to that. That would be fun.
Yes.
Yeah, they're always fun to watch. Something new and different. Jody was saying, she read this morning. She was reading this to me as I woke up. They're X number of years old. They had 150 awards plus.
Oh.
National, international.
I believe it.
Chocolate.
So I talked early on about doing profiles. I wrote up a profile of those guys.
Oh, really?
And how they started making chocolate like on the kitchen counter with a crock pot sort of thing. And from
then all
that
lumber and
to this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just amazing. We've got so many stories like that in Humboldt. It's just
There's
amazing.
such great stories, too.
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And thank you very much for being here and listening. If you want to like us, dig us, write us, make a comment, go for it. Appreciate that. We're on all the podcasts. We're going to be on, of course, Access TV and YouTube. So thanks for joining us. And thank you, Lynette.
Thank you.